beautiful eyesight. Is there the high drive? Deep center. Go, go, go. We're out of here. We're out of here. Say ya, playa.
Just like they drew it up in Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! And this is it for good! The Audubon Green Wave are back in the Final Four! A gold pile on their side!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DW Broadcasting's coverage of men's varsity.
From our entire crew, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We've got playoff football here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Of course, last night was a bit of a hiccup. We had an equipment piece break, and we had to drive out of Delran without a broadcast to show for it. But that game ended 42-7, so I didn't lose a whole lot of sleep over that. This game should be a whole lot better. It's the Manville Mustangs and the Paulsboro Red Raiders here on DWB. We've got ourselves a great game tonight, or this afternoon, this morning even, between two teams that are far away from each other. On Instagram a couple of weeks ago, we posted a graphic about which teams traveled the longest to reach their destinations in the South and Central football playoffs, and Manville was the fourth longest at 1 hour and 27 minutes. Red Bank Regional to Millville was 1 hour 47, and there were over 20 teams who had to traverse over an hour to get to their destinations. But for these guys, it's definitely a point of interest for Manville, the team that has been such a force on rushing the ball this season. They have over 2,200 total rushing yards this season, including 3 players, the rushing Mustang trio, as I like to call them, that have over 400 yards. Not to mention you've got D'Ambrosio with 700. You've got Naquivir Thomas with 935, and then Isaiah Bennett checking in with 435 as well. So we'll definitely fix that real quick. Let's get that right away. There we go. That's why you weren't showing the graphic on the screen. Okay, I didn't understand that at first. But yeah, both of these teams are very good. They're both 7-2, very small schools here in the South and Central area. But for Manville, you know, look, they lost in their 3rd and 4th games of the season and then haven't lost since. They started out 2-0, then dropped to 2-2, and now they've been on the winning streak ever since. And Paulsboro, they've been a little bit all over the place this year. You know, they're 7-2, but if you got to remember, Glenn Howard was here for 35 years and won more sectional championships than you can fit on 2 hands. And now that that Coach Harvey is here in his 2nd season as the Red Raiders head coach, it definitely is a huge shift in the culture here at Paulsboro. They had a 1-7 season in 2023 and were looking to avoid and needed an overtime win versus Audubon in the last week of the regular season to avoid their first winless season since 1906. So Paulsboro went from 1-7, shifted down in the division, and now they are 7-2 going into this Saturday football playoff matchup here versus the Manville Mustangs. Manville is making their first appearance on DWB. Paulsboro is making their 15th, and Manville becomes the 90th high school in the state of New Jersey to actually be able to be on a DWB live stream. So we've been rolling good. And let's see what they've got in store tonight. As we said, Manville, they've got 3 rushers of over 400 yards, and Paulsboro, they're just actively consistent. They have over 1,000 passing yards. They have over 1,500 rushing yards, and they have over 1,000 receiving yards. That's what makes these two teams different. They're both very good at the handoff and at the rush game. However, Paulsboro is consistent across the board. Meanwhile, Manville kind of has their eggs in one basket, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's why Manville is where they are now. Nobody gets to 2,200 rushing yards for nothing. So these guys are coming in as the 6th seed. These guys had to get on a bus at 7 a.m. this morning and travel to Pete Lemani Sports Complex. I'm Dan Wilkins here with Ryan Sieber. It is a beautiful but brisk Saturday morning for Paulsboro football versus the Manville Mustangs. We'll be right back after this.
Raider Nation, get on your feet and welcome to the field your 2024 Paulsboro Red Raiders.
We welcome you back to Pete Lamani Sports Complex. Manville and Paulsboro have taken the field, and the Paulsboro Marching Band seated to our left will be playing the national anthem.
Today's NJSIAA South Group 1 quarterfinal will be between the visiting Manville Mustangs and your Paulsboro Red Raiders. Now I ask everyone, please rise or remove your hats for the playing of the national anthem by the Red Raider Marching Band. NJSIAA playoff game, the NJSIAA requires officials to enforce all rules regarding unsportsmanlike conduct by coaches and players. There will be no tolerance for any negative behavior such as taunting, trash talking, and verbal, written, or physical conduct related to race, gender, ethnicity, disability, sexual orientation, or religion. Such behavior will result in being ejected from this event. All participants must respect the game and respect their opponents. The officials for today's game: Crew Chief Stephen Causey, umpire Darnell Scott, linesman Bert Balliet, line judge John Walcott, side judge Greg Leonardis, field judge Lou Papa, clock Cliff DeCourcy, chains Ron McAleer, John Dick, and Mike Hallahan.
They've never played each other in NJSIAA play, and this is what makes the South and Central playoffs so compelling, is that you never...
Paulsboro will kick off to begin our first quarter here. Kicking off number 3, Carr. Deep to receive, number 3, D'Ambrosio.
Somebody completely by the Mustangs. To be returned by number 20, Colin Shimp. And they'll return it to 35.
Number 20, Shimp on the return.
Manville has their first offensive drive of the morning from the 35.
From their own 37.
Something about Manville and the rushing trio is certainly something that we're going to keep an eye on tonight, as we'll take a look at that Manville, well, I guess not. The graphic might not be ready, so we'll have to look at that at the next break, but still working with some new gadgets and some new equipment up here in the booth, so our first playoff game of the season might be a little bit spotty to start. Here's one of the rushing trio's members. It's Isaiah Bennett, the 5'6", 155-pound back who has rushed for over 430 yards this season.
Game of 6 brings up 2nd and 4.
Will be 2nd and 4 for the Mustangs. As we said, the Mustangs started off the year 2-0. playing in the Big Central Conference, our first ever Big Central Conference appearance on DWB. Out of the Freedom Silver Division. Handoff over the middle. It's number 5, Naquavir Thomas, the Mustangs' leading rusher.
Number 5, Thomas on the carry. Picks up 6 and a Manville first down.
And Paulsboro will, Manville will take up a first down. Just shy of midfield at the 49. Paulsboro's 2 losses this year were an overtime thriller, 29-28 to Camden Catholic in week 3, and a 17 shutout on a Monday versus Shalleck.
Number 1, Bennett on the carry.
On October the 7th. Now, of course, that Shalleck game was supposed to be played on a Saturday, but for various reasons, it was moved to a Monday, and Shalleck won that game 17-0. Now, if Paulsboro wins this game, they would play the number 2 seed Shalleck next week in a rematch, which would be a really fun thing for these guys to see, especially with playoff stakes on the line. Second and mid-range. Handoff over the middle. Get some extra distance on that across the 40, and that should be a Mustangs first down. It will be. Mustangs pick up a first down, and they have already traversed sticks twice here early in the first quarter.
Play will be a Manville first down from the Paulsboro 39.
By the way, if you're just joining us from Manville, we appreciate your support. We talked with some of the coaches this morning before the game started. I know you guys are a long ways away, and this is a little bit outside of, it's not exactly a hop, skip, and a jump away from Paulsboro, so we appreciate you watching this afternoon and enjoying some football with us. Rush over the middle, it's going to get stopped at the line of scrimmage. Thomas on the carry.
Gain of 1 brings up 2nd and 9.
I'll bring up 2nd and 9 here. We do have a DWB doubleheader today. At 3 o'clock, we'll be heading over to the Gateway Regional High School at Angelo Natoli Field for the Collingswood Panthers and the Gateway Gators in NJSIAA crossover play. And then next week, we're going to find out what we've got for playoffs. We're gonna assess our options, and we'll let you know by Tuesday what our plans are. Handoff over the middle. Again, gets stopped for about 2 yards. The Paulsboro defense standing up there.
Picks up 3, brings up 3rd and 6.
Manville, like we said, coming into this game with a very consistent 2,222 rushing yards. And meanwhile, their starting quarterback, Jonathan Gosk, has also picked up 400 passing yards of his own. I'm sorry, not Goss, but I apologize. D'Ambrosio to pass. It is caught down the sideline to the 20 and inside the 10. And Manville has put themselves in a very good position to start this game.
Manville first down.
So a Manville first down and then some as the pass from D'Ambrosio. Get some extra on it. Josh D'Ambrosio, 20 for 44 going into this game, 400 passing yards, 3 TDs out of the pass, 4 interceptions. But, I mean, the guy is as much of a dual threat quarterback as you can dream of for the junior. Not only does he have 750 career passing yards, he also has over 1,300 rushing yards as a quarterback. Out to the right side.
Number 5, Thomas.
I think Naquavir Thomas got
brings up 2nd and 9.
maybe a yard or 2. But they are still inside the 10 at the 8-yard line. And we're just getting started, and of course the Raiders are already getting loud as they look to defend the red zone. Handoff to the right side to Thomas, the Mustangs' leading rusher. Looks like this is going to be stopped near the far sideline, and they will take care of this to bring up 3rd and mid-range. But this is a very good sign for Manville. You know, look, this is what I like. This is what I like about the South and Central playoffs, is that never in my wildest dreams would we have covered Manville on any given Tuesday. But because they're a little bit closer to our, zone of coverage, if you will, it allows that opportunity to open. And, like last night, of course, equipment issues stopped our broadcast of Delaware Valley and Delran. But still, Delaware Valley, they're far away. And also a member of the Big of the Big Central Conference. D'Ambrosio, he gets wrestled to the ground by Eric Scott. And that's going to bring up fourth down as he got sent down hard. And this could bring out the field goal unit, but let's see what they've got. Their place kicker on the roster is number 9, senior Kevin Villegas. And they will go for Villegas for the field goal. This will be looks like a 35-yard attempt. Of course, we've seen our handful of field goals here at Paulsboro, but usually for the visitor. Here we go. It is up, away, and straight down Broadway, and Manville puts up a triple to start this ball game. So a very promising drive for Manville does not result in a touchdown, but it still results in a score. We've already run down halfway through the first quarter. We'll be right back. 3-0 Mustangs. Back here from the industrial town in Gloucester County, Manville and Paulsboro here at Pete Clemani Sports Complex, the home of former legendary head coach Glenn Howard, was tenured here for 35 years. Funny enough, Howard, even after retiring from football, like I said, he had more sectional championships than I can count on both hands, but he actually still substitute teaches in Paulsboro a couple times a week. So he's still very involved with the community. And away we go. Villegas sends it on the ground. That one's going to go right through his hands. Kyer Harvey goes back out of the end zone, and that'll be a touchback. I don't think he touched it. I think it looked like he put his hands up to bring it through and then just kind of stopped it. So Paulsboro, after the touchback, takes over from the 20. So that first drive field goal from 35 by Villegas ended up taking up 7 minutes, as here comes the scrambler to the right side. And he will take himself out of bounds as Malachi McKenzie takes this one himself for Paulsboro. He actually got 15 yards on that scramble. So for Paulsboro this year, their main threat has been Kyer Harvey. He's rushed 101 times, 715 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Now, these guys also have other rushing threats like Sawyer Cabanas as well, who has 350 of his own. However, Harvey definitely is the X factor in the rush game this year and is responsible for the plurality of those yards. We'll see Harvey here. He'll get stopped back at the line of scrimmage at the 35.
Gain of 1 on the play brings us 2nd and 9.
But honestly, Paulsboro should be proud of themselves for the fact that they were able to hold Manville to 3 points there. You know, I think that drive over the first 2-3 minutes was destined to be a touchdown scoring drive. But Paulsboro, when they were backed up in the red zone, they stood up. They had a couple of rushes that were stopped at the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1 or 2. So they held them to 3 points, but not often can you do that inside the 10-yard line. They stood up, they made it count, and they held them to 3 points. But now the answer for Paulsboro is respond with more than 3 points, get into the end zone for 6. Harvey again on the carry, runs out to the left side, and that will again be stopped behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 1 at the 36.
Harvey on the carry.
So now this kind of sets up an interesting situation for Paulsboro where, you know, they're not in good enough field position to where they want to be generous, say on a 4th down if they don't convert. But it's early enough in the game where you can at least be a little bit more conservative, but you don't know what this Manville team has up its sleeve. It's not like if you guys play Shalleck next week, if Paulsboro plays Shalleck next week, they've already played them. They know their tricks, they know their playbook, and they know how it's going to work. But these guys are more unpredictable because you've never played them before in 20 years. That pass is incomplete. Intended for number 4, Marcus Eli. Some coverage in the back by Isaiah Barnett. That will bring up 4th and 9. So a pass that looked like a nice floater from McKenzie ends up falling short. Malachi McKenzie this year, he has passed for 1,017 passing yards, 9 TDs, 3 interceptions. He is 84 for 134 passing, which gives him a 62.6 pass completion percentage. Paulsboro will punt. Jeremiah Carr, kind of the human highlight reel. He will punt this one for the Red Raiders. This one's up. It's going to land at the 46. It will fall flat in the dry grass as the returner was going to be Gosk, but no good on that one. Manville takes over at the 46-45.
The 44-yard line, Manville will take over first and 10 there on 44.
Now that we have that graphic up, yeah, let's talk about that Manville rushing trio this year because they went into this game with 2,222 rushing yards, and the majority of that is from Barnett, D'Ambrosio, the quarterback, and Naquavir Thomas. You know, outside of Demetrius Williams of Clayton, I haven't seen anybody this year who had 1,000 rushing yards in the regular season. You know, I mean, we talk about NFL running backs having 1,000 yards in a rushing season, and we talk about that as impressive. Imagine doing that in 9 games compared to the 17 that the NFL plays. I mean, these guys are a rush-heavy team, and we still have seen the rock passed a couple of times in this first drive as a host of red and white on that one.
Number 3, D'Ambrosio.
Picks up a loss. Actually, might be neutral game.
Gain of 1 brings up 2nd and 9.
Looked like in on that one was number 23, Evan Holloway. Amongst others. But a gain of 1 brings up 2nd and 9. Handoff up the middle on a fake jet. Gets 4 yards. Actually, might not even be, maybe 2 or 3. Still, 3rd down.
Number 5, Thomas on carry. Picks up 3, brings up 3rd and 6.
But if Paulsboro's defense can make that stand, they can definitely make a point going into the 2nd quarter that, you know, they're not going to go around here and play second fiddle to Manville, you know, that they're coming in as the home team. You know, assuming that they play Shalleck next week, which they will, this is going to be their last home playoff game unless Glassboro gets upset somehow. So, you know, these guys are right now trying to forge their way through the bracket so that they can have a date in mid-November with Glassboro. D'Ambrosio drops back. This one's caught by Thomas. He gets to the 50, gets dropped on his back. That will be short as it's dropped by number 6, Jamal Robinson.
Brings up 4th and 3.
It'll be 4th and 3 for the Mustangs, and they will punt. Back to punt for the Mustangs. That is the quarterback, Josh D'Ambrosio. Back to return is going to be number 3, Jeremiah Carr.
Number 3, D'Ambrosio. Back to receive for Paulsboro, number 0, Harden.
And we've got a timeout called. Manville calls their first timeout. We have 68 seconds remaining in quarter number 1. We'll be right back after this. We're back here. Manville burned a timeout, and now they've got D'Ambrosio back to punt.
D'Ambrosio back to receive, number 0, Harden.
I wonder if we're going to see a fake here. Nope, it's up. It is way back. No fair catch by Harvey. He picks this one up at the 20. Rolls this one out to the right, and he'll get a gain of 5.
Harvey on the return. Back to the Paulsboro 25. Paulsboro will take over, 1st and 10.
And we do have an injured player down. I believe that might be Harvey, as he did take a hit. It is Harvey on the return, who had 5 yards. And Paulsboro's second drive of the afternoon will set up at the 25. But Paulsboro's athletic trainer coming out there. Head coach Kevin Harvey, assistant coaches James Davis, Kevin Johnson, Darius Quarles, also the head coach of the boys basketball team that we've covered a couple times, Kyle Jones, Rick Eli, Frank Daminger, and Vaughn Scott. So as they attend to Harvey, we will take a quick break, and we'll be right back after he is given assistance.
Two minutes remaining. 4 fouls on St. Joe's. 1 more and it's a bonus, which would greatly help Gloucester Catholic. The moving three, good! It's a 1-point game just like that! This place is going nuts! And now a drive to the basket by Spross. He lays it up and lays it.
Go. Kyer Harvey being attended for an injury. He walked off the field under his own power. 1st and 10 for the Red Raiders from the 25. Sending tight end Scott in motion. McKenzie drops back. Lines a pass to the right side. It's caught by Carr. Did he lose a shoe? He lost something.
Because he passed complete to the number 3, Carr.
Oh, I didn't know what that was, but it was a chunk of grass that came up from Jeremiah Carr. He put a divot at the 31-yard line. Of course, Jeremiah Carr gained national attention for a catch made versus Pensgrove in Week 0 that we covered, was featured on the NFL segment You Got Mossed prior to one of the Fox NFL games. It wasn't our video they used. They used Tom McGurk's clip from that segment.
Number 5, Cabanas on the carry.
Sawyer Cabanas on the carry.
Gain of 5 and a Raider 1st down.
I mean, hey, South Jersey's gotten their fair share in the Sports Center top 10, in the past couple of months. Somebody told me originally it got on Sports Center's Sports Center top 10, but it was just on the it was just on the You Got Mossed segment. But no mossing in the first quarter. A Manville field goal from 35 is the only scoring we have in our first frame. Quarter number 2 on the way from Paulsboro and the Pete Lamani Sports Complex, 3-0.
It will be inbounded by Pat Monahan. Oh, the ball gets away. Who's going to have it? GCIT will hang on to the possession. It goes to Stanwood. Stanwood inside. They'll get the shot off. It's good! Unbelievable! Boston calls the timeout, but will they get it? Unbelievable! Unbelievable! A double contest shot from Hellman! Wow. Ryan James wanted the timeout, but did they get it in time?
First and 10 for the Red Raiders. Over the middle. Vanis again gets about 6 yards, 2nd and 4. The thing about Paulsboro is that they are consistent. Like we said, Malachi McKenzie came into this game with over 1,000 passing yards. Paulsboro also has 1,000 or more receiving yards in the season and 1,500 rushing yards. And that's what makes a good team. If you can have consistent passing, consistent rushing, and consistent receiving, you have 3 different outlets that you can go to in terms of moving the ball and being proficient with the ball. Over the middle, this should be a first down for the Red Raiders. This will land at midfield. Again, Sawyer Cabanas, after that injury to Kyer Harvey, he's still stretching out, but he's on his feet on the sidelines. I think he's getting ready to come in a few plays. So Sawyer Cabanas in at the moment to kind of take the load off, if you will. But McKenzie, the junior quarterback, also has 100 rushing yards on the campaign. Malachi McKenzie, he has passed for over 100 yards in 5 games this season for the Red Raiders, including 234 in a 36-19 win over Audubon in Week 1. This one is deep to the right side. Carr makes the catch, breaks free. Paulsboro touchdown, 50 yards. Malachi McKenzie finds the human highlight reel, Jeremiah Carr, in the end zone for 50 yards. 49 yards, actually, but even impressive still, as it's 6-3 Red Raiders. Say replay? You said the replay? Okay. So they'll attempt the PAT. Or no, they're going to attempt 2. Let's see what they've got in the bag. McKenzie with Cabanas to his left, sending Jamal Robinson in motion. The fake jet, they do hand it off to Robinson. To the left side, he gets tripped up, and that will be short. So the 2-point conversion is no good. But how about that from Jeremiah Carr? 49-yard touchdown. Found it to the right side, just broke through the double coverage from the Mustangs. And the Red Raiders are on the board in the second quarter, 6-3.
He has passed for over 100 yards in 5 games this season for the Red Raiders, including 234 in a 36-19 win over Audubon in Week 1. This one is deep to the right side. Carr makes the catch, breaks free. Paulsboro touchdown, 50 yards.
Welcome back to Paulsboro. Jeremiah Carr just got the Red Raiders on the board with a 49-yard touchdown. Bennett to return, Carr to kick, who just scored the touchdown, and this one will roll. It's going to roll a long way, and we've got a flag for kicking out of bounds. This sounds fundamental because it is, but good job by Bennett there to let that kick roll. I've seen far too many kicks this year that are hugging the sideline, and the returners are eager to pick it up because they think they can get a good return out of it. Well, think about it this way. If you're not going to get to the 35, then, why even pick up the ball? So I like the fact that Bennett was patient there. You know, as a kick returner, especially in Group 1 action, they're not as patient or as disciplined, just in a larger sense, compared to those larger school kick returners, especially if they're not, you know, if they're not, you know, wrestled out to be kick returners. Sometimes these guys are just straight up their wide receiver 1 or their running back 1, who they put in the kick returner spot because they don't have players to, you know, kind of play independently on both sides. So, you know, the way I see it, that was a good job from Bennett, and as a result, they get paid with a 35-yard start time, or start of their drive from their own 35. As that ball rolled out inside the 5-yard line on the kickoff, that one gets stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Number 5, Thomas. No gain on the play, brings up 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10 for the Mustangs. As we said, Josh D'Ambrosio, the quarterback for the Mustangs, passing 20 for 44 this season. So not as much as Malachi McKenzie, but a 45.4% pass completion rate. Passed 23 for 67 in 2023. A season that Manville in the Big Central Conference, you know, held up for themselves, but 351 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and 751 career passing yards going into today's contest. This time, D'Ambrosio on the carry.
Gain of 1 on the play brings up 3rd and 9.
3rd and 9 for the Mustangs. You know, Manville, they only made it to 3-7 in 2023. They was still in the Big Central Freedom Silver, but started off the year 2-2 again, but lost 3 in a row to South Hunterdon, Denellen, and Belvedere. And they played in the now defunct regional consolation games in South Group 1. This is where the DWB connection comes in. They lost 40-28 to Keensburg. Keensburg then plays Pennsville, and we covered Keensburg-Pennsville back on 1 year ago today, November 2nd, 2023. How about that? D'Ambrosio drops back, spin cycle to get out of the defensive pass rush. Now he's at the line of scrimmage, lets it fly. It is tipped down. Intended for number 2. The receiver, Samuel Echo-Farray, on that one, brings up 4th down for the Mustangs. How about that, to get out of a sack situation there. He was being charged by number 58, DeJohn Williams, 5'10", 180 junior. And again, it will be, looks like D'Ambrosio to punt, Carr to return.
Carr back to return for the Red Raiders.
Oh, that one. Oh, he just punted it straight in the air. He just punted it 2 yards straight in the air. The punt's going to go backwards. Paulsboro's going to pick it up at the 15. Unbelievable. I have never seen a punt go backwards in my entire life until today.
On the Manville 18.
Wow. I think that's just a mental error right there. Because Manville, once they see that the ball goes straight up, they've got to find a way to fall on top of that and prevent the loss, basically. You know, you're not going to be in a great spot either way, but it could have been better than what it was. Man, that's a tough break for Manville. They are going to set up shop from the 17. Paulsboro 1st down. 6-3 in favor of the Red Raiders. Here comes a handoff to Cabanas.
Number 5, Cabanas on the carry.
Again, gets up the middle, 9 yards, and they are now at the 10-yard line, so they are even closer to the end zone. Actually, I'm sorry, on the 11. You know, we saw that with Pennsgrove and Woodbury earlier this year in October, where Woodbury punts, Pennsgrove, their player accidentally tipped the ball, in their hand but didn't realize it. Woodbury did. They fell on it and they punted for a first down. Now that situation was a little bit different, but still just goes to show that punting can be such a vulnerable position in these Group 1 schools where these guys are not mentored to punt. They're mentored to play their respective positions that they played Pee Wee football, doing from the age of 5 all the way up to the age of 15. So now that they're playing, now that they're bringing up, punting in varsity football, well, guess what? D'Ambrosio is the starting quarterback for them. He wasn't a natural-born punter. My alma mater, Audubon, we are lucky enough to have a designed and special place kicker and punter like Logan Gilbert. But, not every school has that luxury. They drop the sticks, first and goal from the 5. Up the middle, diving forward, touchdown Paulsboro. Sawyer Cabanis rushes it up the middle and gives the Paulsboro Red Raiders a 9-point, could be a 10-point lead after this. So they will, looks like they're going to go for 2 again. McKenzie and Cabanis coming back out. I don't know if Harvey is back on the field yet. No, he is there. So here we go, 2-point conversion for Paulsboro. They failed the first time, and now McKenzie rolls out a pass, and it's caught for 2. So Kyer Harvey picks up the 2-point extra, and the Red Raiders now make this a 14-3 lead. We're midway through quarter number 2. We'll be right back.
The punt's going to go backwards. Paulsboro's going to pick it up at the 15. Unbelievable. Kicker and punter like Logan Gilbert. But, not every school has that luxury. They drop the sticks, first and goal from the 5. Up the middle, diving for.
Kickoff return for Manville ends up getting flattened at the 40. Jarrett Caseta, the freshman.
Manville take over first and 10 on their home 39.
So decent field position for Manville to start this drive. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center. Keep your pet happy and healthy today. List the most organic food products available in South Jersey, along with toys, cages, accessories, and much, much more. Visit 7 days a week at 226 South White Horse Pike in Audubon. And also, if you are a small business owner interested in advertising with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, we are always looking for sponsors to air their commercials on GWB. All commercials you see on our broadcasts are filmed, recorded, edited, and produced on site by our wonderful crew, including myself, and all advertising funds go towards my college fund. I'm a freshman at Rowan College of South Jersey, community college down here, and I do this maybe not as a living, but as a way to advance my career, build up my resume. Been doing this since my sophomore year of high school. It's funny when I do these broadcasts with teams that are out of town, like Manville or Somerville, Bridgewater, they all think I'm some sort of old fart behind the mic. But no, I turned 19 on Monday. So, it's been a fun journey. This is broadcast, I think, number 414 for us. So, me and my wonderful crew, including Gateway Regional Senior Ryan Sieber, he's on the production this afternoon. They make this possible, and so do our sponsors, including Garden State Pet Center, Vincent's Lawn Care, and Harper Driving School. D'Ambrosio on a fake jet. Bit of a couple extracurriculars after the play.
39.
Between Robinson and number 58, Princeton Ramos. Or no, I'm sorry, number 68. It's not on our on our roster here, but Manville on 3rd and 9 now, led by head coach David Markowicz, assisted by Jake Bentz, Nick Firth, Barry Kostabos, and Max Ciboli, and volunteered by Michael Nikowski, Isaiah Ruiz, and Gabriel Van Buren, game day coordinator John Bentz, and strength and conditioning coaches Dennis Petrone and Todd Peterson. Dumped out to the left side. It is caught. This is going to be tripped up. Now it's going to be a first down. Manville has some space, and they're down at the 45. As Manville is finally starting to get that groove back from early in the first quarter, they're starting to get it back in their veins, and it's first down for the Mustangs.
Result of the play, Mustangs will have a first down on the Paulsboro 43.
I think that's something that they are finally trying to figure out, is that it seems like the rush game is not doing as well as they liked, because it was doing great when they had the passing game going. They got it inside the 10, looked like Manville was going to score, and then Paulsboro held them to a field goal. So if they can get a little bit out of their comfort zone and run some more passing plays, as that one is going to be a loss of yards behind the line of scrimmage. Line of scrimmage at the 44. But I think if you're Manville right now, you're down by 11 points. You have to get a little bit out of your comfort zone to avoid this game getting out of hand, because you didn't travel here an hour and 30 minutes just to, lose by 25. Because Manville is a very good team. Look, they started out the year 2-2, and they haven't lost since late September. They beat Hapatcong 33-0. Keyport 28-7, and their 2 losses this year were in a row. September 13th and September 20th on the road. Belvedere 21-0, Middlesex 27-14. They've won 5 in a row and have only surrendered 18 points in the last 2 games going into today. On second down, D'Ambrosio had to basically shift his plans and ended up taking it himself for a few yards.
Brings up 3rd and 7.
So in 4 of those 5 games that Manville has won in a row from September 17th onward, they have allowed less than 14 points in only 1 of them. Their 42-3 win over Bound Brook and the Crusaders. But they beat South Hunterdon 21-14, JP Stevens 41-20, Dunellen, the Destroyers, 42-14, and Highland Park 42-15. So they've been proficient on offense, but this would be the 5th time in the past 6 games that Manville has allowed 14 or more points. That's an incompletion. Just a little bit low to Samuel Echeverry.
Brings up 4th down.
So D'Ambrosio got a couple of yards on second. That 3rd down incompletion sets up 4th down and 7 with 4 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Here at the Pete Lamani Sports Complex, Paulsboro leads 14-3 over the Mustangs. Both teams have definitely had their struggles in the passing game, some incompletions that have hurt both of these teams so far. Manville now going for it on 4th and 6. D'Ambrosio finds room to the right side. He is going to take it himself. He will get wrestled out of bounds, but this is going to be short by about 2 yards. He got taken out by Sawyer Cabanis, it looks like. So they took the gamble, and it will be a loss of, gain, but still short of 2. I can't blame them for taking the gamble there. You're down by 11 points. I don't think that it's that bad of an idea at this juncture in the game to go for it. If you keep punting and punting and punting, especially where you were on the field. I mean, they were at the 40-yard line at that point. So it's a little bit too far ahead to punt, because if you end up getting a breakaway, if Paulsboro's defense faltered, they would have easily gotten a first down and maybe even gotten into the red zone. But D'Ambrosio did the best he could, scrambled out of the pocket when he didn't find any open receivers, and that's why he's got 400 rushing yards, because of the fact that he can scramble out of the pocket so efficiently. Kyer Harvey on the carry to the left side. He's been banged up a little bit tonight.
Picks up 2, brings up 2nd and 8 for the Raiders.
Don't forget to stay tuned for the DWB halftime show presented by Harper Driving School. Three minutes, 20 seconds and counting here from Paulsboro. But Manville's defense definitely has to take a stand here. You don't want to allow another score before the half. As they run one high safety, McKenzie to the right side. He is going to let this one fly. Who's the target? It's Robinson, who falls away and makes the... No, it's incomplete. That looked so good, but the double coverage on defense... Again, D'Ambrosio, how about the fact that he was doing defensive coverage on that play? D'Ambrosio also seemed a little bit shaken up on that play. But the double coverage, I mean, Manville seemed to read it well, and Robinson just falling away, landing on his backside, just couldn't make that catch, and now that brings up 3rd and 8. But if Manville can keep forcing Paulsboro to make those mistakes, I mean, McKenzie had time. He was in the pocket. He let it fly. He was able to kind of recoil that throw a little bit to have some more air yards. And, you know, now they're kind of in a precarious situation where you want to score, you're up by 11, and you want to put this game more favorably in your hands. But at this juncture in the game, Manville is just trying to do everything they can to get the momentum to swing back their way. McKenzie again in the pocket, now rolls out. He gets to the line of scrimmage, and he's going to get a first down. And without even getting touched, he gets out of bounds at the 45, and it's a first down for Paulsboro.
Runs out of bounds at the Manville 45, enough for a Red Raider first down.
Manville did not need that. Absolutely. I think they, on 3rd and 8, I think they were hoping that he was going to let it fly and force an incompletion just like they did on Robinson in the prior play. And now it makes it a little bit more difficult. But at the same time, first down, 2 minutes, 50 seconds left on the clock. They've still got 45 yards to go. With the pace that this game has gone, it's no guarantee that Paulsboro is going to score again. I mean, they've had 2 very different touchdowns. Sawyer Kamanis rushed for 4 yards to get in the end zone the first time, and Jeremiah Carr had a pass touchdown for 49 yards. So they've had touchdowns big and small this afternoon so far. The offensive line basically just collapsed, and now McKenzie has to play the scramble game again, gets hit twice by D'Ambrosio and by Thomas and by Isaiah Bennett. So all 3 of the Mustang trio ends up playing a ball on that play for 3 yards, 2nd and 7. Don't forget, at 3 o'clock today, we'll be traveling from Paulsboro to Gateway at Angelo Natoli Stadium to see the Collingswood Panthers and Gateway Gators for our 2nd double dip of this afternoon. And then on Tuesday, November 5th, we've got boys soccer for playoffs. We're going to still try to figure out where that is, and by tomorrow, we'll let you know what game we have picked up. Of course, nothing else important going on that day, but NJSIAA boys soccer on Tuesday, November 5th. 2nd and 7 after a 3-yard gain by McKenzie after a collapsed offensive line. Harvey's got room to the right side. He is tripped up. They drop the stick. They'll stay in bounds. And I believe this is short of a first by about a yard. It's going to be 3rd and 3.
3rd and 2.
Paulsboro setting up here on 3rd and short from the 37. 1 minute and 10 to play. Again, McKenzie in the shotgun. He has plenty of time. Floats the pass. Incomplete. Broken up in double coverage. That was intended for Robinson, but Marcus Eli also was in on that one. It just seemed like 2 receivers were running the same route. That'll bring up 4th down here. If you're Paulsboro, I don't know. Do you? I would say go for it, but that's just me. You get the ball back to start the second half. You can be a little bit gutsy here. They will go for it. 4th and very manageable. 4th and 2 from the 32. I'm sorry, from the 37. Dropping back, McKenzie. He buys his time. The pocket collapses. They whiff on him, and he's going to get another first down. That was a game of cat and mouse there with Armando Lazzari. First down, Paulsboro. That was a game of cat and mouse right there. He kind of led the offensive lineman into his trap, and then he switched directions and ran to the right side. You know, it's kind of a matter of you can't fall for that trap. And that's exactly what Manville did. They fell for the trap. McKenzie burned him again and got the first down with 50 seconds remaining. At the 29. So a gain of 8 on that play is enough to move the sticks. McKenzie again, he has plenty of time. Again, finds the pass. Scott bobbled it, but caught it anyway. A gain of 4 at the 25, and we've got whistles for a timeout. Paulsboro calls their first timeout. So they have 35 seconds remaining here in quarter number 2. They do get the ball back to start the second half, but they lead 14-3 here late in quarter number 2. (14-3) Paulsboro. As if you're just joining us, Manville allowed a first down rush by Malachi McKenzie, the quarterback. McKenzie drops back. He's going to fire this one to the right side. Incomplete. Broken up in double coverage by D'Ambrosio. The coverage by Joshua D'Ambrosio and Trevor Metz Jr. Both juniors on that one, as Carr, who has seen a lot of time in the spotlight today and throughout his entire season, gets broken up in double coverage. It's 3rd and 7 from the 25. So again, circling manageable, but you have 30 seconds left. You're throwing the rock out there. Let's see what they've got. Again, McKenzie finds time. He still has it. Whiffs on it. Now he's going to float a pass to the right side. It's caught by Jeremiah Carr, who's still running, and he is going to find open space for a Paulsboro touchdown. He just traversed the entire field. And somehow, across 25 yards, he basically ran across the entire field to Sean Jackson style and puts Paulsboro in front again before the half. That's pretty crazy if you ask me. I mean, that was very impressive by Jeremiah Carr. That was pretty crazy. So McKenzie coming back out. We've got 12 seconds left. It is 20-3. Manville got first blood with a 35-yard field goal from Kevin Villegas. McKenzie, he just has so much time on every play. It is good. How did he make that catch? Eric Scott makes a catch in the backside of the end zone. We'll stay on the air as we've got some replays to show you here on DWB.
It's caught by Jeremiah Carr, who's still running, and he is going to find open space for a Paulsboro touchdown. He just traversed the entire field. And somehow, across 25 yards, left, it is 20-3. Manville got first blood with a 35-yard field goal from Kevin Villegas. McKenzie, he just has so much time on every play. It is good.
"12 seconds remain in the half, and Paulsboro converts another 8 points to make it 22-3.
Number 32, Smith on the kick for the Red Raiders. Back receiver for Manville, number 3, D'Ambrosio, and number 4, Watson.
Again, D'Ambrosio, the starting quarterback, and also seems like the second leading rusher on this team, also back to return, along with Jaden Watson, the junior. Short kick, picked up at the 29. It is instead returned by Nakwavir Thomas, who gets dropped at the 44. So 4 seconds left, 4.1 to be exact. Actually, 4.7 seconds left. So they could either take a knee or they could air one out. I don't know. I mean, down at this juncture, 22-3. I don't think it's impossible. But you kind of have to play devil's advocate here with the fact that if you try a Hail Mary pass and gets picked off, what happened with, I want to say it was the New York Jets or something like that. They had a Hail Mary that they tried at the end of the half, gets picked off and returns all the way like 99 yards for a score. They will go into that formation and they will take a knee to end the first half as the Red Raiders, with a late second quarter touchdown, jump out to a 22-3 lead in favor of the Paulsboro Red Raiders. They're off to a hot start here in the first round of South Jersey Group 1 playoffs, and we will be back in about 15 minutes. We'll be playing some DWB archives so you can watch the history of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting and some of our greatest moments from our 3 years of football, baseball, and basketball. We'll be back in 15.
It will be inbounded by Pat.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
It will be inbounded by Pat Monahan. Oh, the ball gets away. Who's going to have it?
2 minutes remaining.
TCIT will hang on to the possession. It goes to Stanwood. Stanwood inside. They'll get the shot off. It's gone! Unbelievable! Gloucester calls the timeout, but will they get it? Unbelievable! Unbelievable! A double contest shot from Hellman!
Wow.
Ryan James wanted the timeout, but did they get it in time? It will be donning the number 34 and the shortstop for this one. First pitch. There's a line drive into center field. That one is going to drop it. It's going to go to the outfield wall. One run will score. Spence is going to make a huge arc around third. She will score to make it 3-0. And here comes the runner to score. It's an inside the park home run for Ella Hayes to make it a 4-0 game. A 3-run inside the Parker to the
1-0 Red Bank. Now here is Al D'Elia. The man they used to call Big Al has now slimmed down, and he still hits dingers. He went viral in 2018 for his catchphrase during the Little League World Series when he was introduced by the ESPN camera crews and was given his standard introduction. He said, "Hi, my name's Big Al, and I hit dingers." And that sentiment still holds true today. He had his first career high school home run versus Rumson Fairhaven in their opening game of the campaign last week. There's a swing and a miss, 0-2. But D'Elia, kind of a folk hero for baseball players who just want to hit the ball far and have fun while doing it. The poster child now is the poster big fella. Fly ball right center field. This is going to be a sac fly. Taken in by Terranova, and Big Al might not hit dingers, but he certainly drives in runs. It's 2-0. Doubleheader reached first on an error in the first at-bat of Game 2. This one's lined into center field. Slider going over. He dives. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Ryan Slider makes the catch. Not on a slide, but instead on a dive. 2 away.
Ryan Nutley, who has 3 RBIs so far, is up on deck as here's a fly ball at the center field, going back to the wall. It is gone! 3-run home run, Steve Schaefer. He rockets one out, and it's 9-2. First home run for Schaefer this year, the second hit at home by a Scarlet Raptor.
Halftime here at Paulsboro, 22-3 in favor of the Red Raiders. You know, Ryan, this has been a very interesting game because Manville got the first score, but it's been all Paulsboro since. 22 unanswered and 3 touchdowns in the first half, including one from Sawyer Cabanis. Jeremiah Carr has 2, including 65 total receiving yards on those touchdown plays. So, you know, Paulsboro's been able to put themselves out in front, but they have not, they've not let off the gas pedal, and these guys are ready to go in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, based off the first drive of both teams, I thought Manville was going to be able to eat a lot of clock, run the ball downfield like they did in that first drive. But after that, it really opened up for Paulsboro. You know, they started throwing a bit more and really opened up the run game for themselves. And I think it's been pretty good for Paulsboro ever since that first drive.
I mean, yeah, you make a good point there. They chewed off 6.5 minutes in that first drive where they settled for 3 points, and then Paulsboro only took like another 2 minutes to get downhill. They took only 2 minutes off in the second quarter to get into the end zone again, and it was a 49-yard breakaway touchdown. So the way I see it, I think Manville still got a fighting shot in this game. The thing that I like about the playoffs is that in this scenario, it's 12:15 in the afternoon. People are still getting their A game, getting their energy up. It's still early, and the halftime break has an opportunity to change how teams think. If Manville goes into the second half with a different mentality, I think they need to pass more. Paulsboro's passing more. Manville needs to pass more. And both offensive lines, in my opinion, aren't really holding up. We've seen both quarterbacks, D'Ambrosio and McKenzie, have to scramble a decent amount out of the pocket on pretty much every passing play. So if there's an opportunity for Manville to throw the ball downfield, you don't have too much to lose right now. You're down by 19 points, and in this scenario, it's a 3-possession game, and you have to get those 3 possessions fast because you only have 24 minutes to play with it. So Manville, I think, they won't get the ball back to start the half, but I think they have to be a little bit more ambitious because Paulsboro has beaten them since the start of the second quarter at almost every turn. So, Manville, I think they just have. I mean, the fact that that punt that went backwards, that doesn't help. They were kicking into the wind, and punt went straight up in the air and then landed behind his head. So, those are a couple of mental mistakes, but at the same time, part of it's not Manville's fault. Some unlucky interceptions, some great coverage in the secondary by both teams. Manville still has a fighting shot in this game. Don't get it twisted. But they have a lot of work to do down by 19.
I mean, I agree with you there. I think what Manville has to do if they want to come back a little bit is to get more aggressive on their own offense. Passing the ball more. Just what do you have to lose at this point? It's potentially the end of the season for them if they lose this game. So I think it's time for them to get aggressive, maybe come back to this game a little bit, or Paulsboro just continue their dominant run and have a really nice victory going into Shallock next week.
That'll be interesting to see. In a 6-versus-3 game, Paulsboro's up by 19. We're going to turn this camera around and bring the action back to you from the Pete Lamani Sports Complex. Kevin Villegas to kick for the Mustangs. I'm honestly surprised at this isn't a knock against Paulsboro, but I'm surprised at the attendance for today's game. For a home playoff game, decent amount of empty seats. Villegas sends this one away. It's picked up by Carr to the 20. He's met by a host of Mustangs at the 32. And that is where the Red Raiders will start their first drive of the second half. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on the first attempt. If you like those odds, you can book an appointment today at Suite E of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, right off of Lambs Road. First and 10 for the Red Raiders from the 32. Dumps it out to the flat. Carr. He'll go out of play. That's going to bring it out towards midfield.
Gain of 13 on the play. Enough for a Red Raider first down.
So the Red Raiders bring this one out to the 47 for a gain of 15 on their first play from scrimmage in the third quarter. From near midfield, again, dumps it off to the flat Carr. It is complete for about 5 yards.
Complete to number 3, Carr.
I wasn't sure if it was completed for a second there, but it was.
Second and 6.
It is 2nd and 6. They're across midfield at the 48. But I think Paulsboro is changing their mentality a little bit. You know, they're up by 19. They can change things up a little bit with a little bit more confidence, if you will. And, you know, what they're doing here is, like I said, they're passing more to the flat. And they're able to find a way to gain a few yards on every play instead of a whole bunch of yards on just one play. Sending the tight end Scott in motion. Cabanas immediately gets scrambled up. The ball came out of bounds, it looks like.
Number 5, Cabanas on the carry, fumbles out of bounds.
Okay, so he fumbled the ball and it rolled out of bounds on the near sideline. I mean, that was a case of the defensive line read that one immediately. There was no doubt about it. Manville stepped up on that play. Not only did they force neutral gain, but, you know, that cost Paulsboro a down, and now they've got to be a little bit concerned about ball control. That was the first time a ball got loose tonight on either side. So if Paulsboro continues to have issues with the ball control, Manville's going to be right there. And they're going to be looking dead red for him. Barely started here in the third quarter. Here comes another pass to the flat. It's Scott. Makes the catch. Pass is incomplete. Got knocked out. That'll bring it 4th down. It's 4th and manageable. If I'm Paulsboro, I don't know if I want to bring out the punt team right now. I don't want to give Manville an opportunity. And McKenzie is going to go back out there. It's 4th and 6 from the 48. So Paulsboro, you know, we were talking about Manville being ambitious on offense. Well, Paulsboro's, they're there first with the ambition on the offense. They've had a couple of incompletions, but definitely they've been completing those shorter passes now as McKenzie, he finds a gap. He's going to turn on the Jets. They drop the sticks. Big hit. That is a huge hit for number 11, Trevor Metz, and I believe that's a 1st down.
Number 2, McKenzie on the carry.
That was the unstoppable object moving into the immovable force right there in the linebacker in the second line of defense. I thought it was a 1st down, but it is a turnover on downs.
1st down, Manville.
Ooh, that's a lucky break for Manville. And if I'm Manville, take this opportunity and don't take it for granted. Because if you do, you're going to regret it. And you're down by 19. You know, you have some time left. There's 10:37 left in the third quarter. You have time to work with. But you can't let that momentum slip any further into Paulsboro's side. Because you dug yourself the hole. You know, you got the first step. And now have to find a way to get back into this game for Manville trying to pull off the upset. Hand off to the left side for D'Ambrosio. That will be about a yard or 2.
Number 3, D'Ambrosio on the carry. Picks up 2, brings up 2nd and 8.
By the way, some out-of-town score updates. Riverside leads Haddon Township 32-14 in South Jersey Group 1. That's the other 11 o'clock game being played. So Riverside, the 5 seed, pulling out to a big upset so far. 32-14 is the current score there over in Haddon Township. Second and 8 after a 2-yard gain. Again, trying to wrestle away from the Paulsboro D-line. Gets wrestled to the ground on the carry by Thomas. That might be a loss of a couple yards. Let's talk about some out-of-town scores from the NJSIAA sectional tournament. Ocean City beat Allentown 42-34 in Central Jersey Group 3. Cedar Creek beat Triton 39-14, again in Central Group 3. And Delsea beat Burlington Township in a huge upset, 7 seed over the 2 seed, 29-12. The previously undefeated Falcons now take their first loss and their only loss of the season. Hopewell Valley beat Nottingham 45-15 in South Jersey Group 3. As dropping back again, D'Ambrosio on 3rd and long. Now again scrambling, he throws it away. Didn't find anybody open. I'll be 4th and 9.
Brings up 4th down.
It's an unfortunate situation there. I mean, Manville just ran out of options. Oh, hold on, we got an injury timeout. So, yeah, I mean, that's just an unfortunate situation where they were just trying to get their way out of the pocket.
4-0-4.
Manville ran out of room, ran out of options, and not only did their quarterback throw it incompletion, we also have an injury on the sideline. While they attend to him, we will go over some more out-of-town scores. Mainland beat Barnegat 49-14 in South Group 3. Millville beat Red Bank Regional 49-6 in Central Group 4. Shawnee beat Middletown South 21-7 in South Group 4. Washington Township shut out Hunter and Central 38-0 in Central Group 5. Cherry Hill East pulled off the upset and remained undefeated over Southern Regional 28-21 over Manahawkin in Central Group 5. Atlantic City beat Eastern 47-15 in Central Group 5. Toms River North beat Bridgeton 55-6 in South Jersey Group 5, another team that had been undefeated before just a week ago. Brick Memorial shut out Northern Burlington 56-0 in Central Group 4. Rancocas Valley beat Edison 42-7 in South Group 5. That was a close call on the punt. It is taken in at the 25 by Carr. He finds some room to the left side. He will get dropped at the 32. A nice hit there by Samuel Echeverry.
After the return, Paulsboro will take over 1st and 10 on their own 34.
So Manville ran out of room, and on the punt return, they'll start the drive from the 34. 8:40 left in the third, and Paulsboro's first offensive drive of the day. Glassboro crushed Point Pleasant Beach 64-7 in the first round of South Jersey Group 1. Shalleck shut out my alma mater of Audubon 24-0, and Pennsville got their first playoff win since 2016 in a 41-20 win in Central Group 1 over Burlington City. And there is our first flag of the game outside of a kicking out of bounds penalty. That's a false start.
Flag is false start against the Raiders.
Okay. There was somebody up in the booth who just said they haven't thrown a flag all day. Well, you got your wish. There was one kicking out of bounds penalty at some point in the first half. That was it. That was the first non-kickoff flag that we have seen in this entire game. That's almost incredible. Almost impressive how long we went without a flag. Considering we had Lenape and Camden Catholic that had a total of 59 flags thrown between both teams, including 13 personal fouls. Kyer Harvey, oh, that's a big hit. And on that one, Naquavir Thomas and Isaiah Bennett. Thomas, like a freight train out there. That's second down from the 34. Delran shut out, or not shut out, but took care of Delaware Valley 42-7. Camden beat Middle Township 46-13. Probably the best playoff game we've seen in this first round, Manchester Township and West Deptford. Manchester Township, their first playoff win in school history in a rematch from week 0 over West Deptford. They hit a game-winning field goal with 5 seconds remaining to win 30-29 over the Eagles. After, oh, here we go. We've got a quick pitch. There's a flag on the play. Spinning around for a first down. It's number 11. That being Giant Gandy, it looks like. Or Gardner.
Gardner on the carry. And the flag on the play.
So we do have a penalty marker. Yeah, we're going to have a legal procedure on Paulsboro.
Against the Red Raiders.
So we didn't have any flags for the first half, and then we have 3 in the third quarter already. Kingsway beat Howell 13-0 in South Group 5.
After the penalty brings up 2nd and 15.
An upset from Central Group 1. Woodbury beat Middlesex 35-28 as the 6th seed. Shore shut out New Egypt 21-0 in Central Group 1. Let's see what else we've got here. Woodstown beat Kip Cooper. Kip Cooper making their first playoff appearance in school history. They beat them 31-8. Point Pleasant Borough beat Gloucester 41-13. Here we go, 2nd and 15 after the illegal procedure. McKenzie again has time in the pocket. Lets it fly. It is caught by Gardner on the far sideline. That will be barely enough for a first down, Paulsboro.
McKenzie's pass complete to number 11, Gardner. Enough for a Red Raider first down.
Another great play there by McKenzie. The offensive line has been a huge boost for him. It's been hit or miss because there's been some times where the defensive line has broken through and forces McKenzie to run out of the scramble and even scramble for like 15, 20 yards for a first down. But then there's been other times where the offensive line holds up. And that was a perfect situation where the offensive line held up and found a way, because that's what you got to do. You just got to find a way. Willingboro shut out, or not, I keep saying shut out. They took care of Johnson, A.L. Johnson, 62-7. Harvey on the carry. This will get about 3 yards. Actually, a little bit more. He is still on his feet. No whistles. It finally dies out at the 41. And Kyer Harvey turns nothing into certainly something. A gain of 13 and a first down for the Red Raiders. Haddonfield beat Hillside 14-7. Wall shut out Haddon Heights 34-0. In South Group 5. Oh, hold on. We've got 2 Manville players who were shaken up on that play. It will be a first down.
Gain of 11 and another Red Raider first down.
It's another first down, but we have an injury timeout, it looks like. As D'Ambrosio, the quarterback, being walked off the field. Manalapan beat Pennsauken 35-12. Cherokee beat Old Bridge 16-14. And in South Jersey Group 5, Hillsborough beat Freehold Township, 2 very famous South Jersey schools, 49-20. Somerville shut out Absegami 40-0. Seneca beat Timber Creek in a squeaker 13-10. And that's all we got. So some independent games as well. There was Pennington beat Notre Dame 35-7, but a handful of games being played today as well. Like we said, the only one that we currently have updates on, because Winslow's game starts at 1. So that'll be in about 25 minutes. The only other game we have is Riverside Haddon Township, where Riverside leads 32-14 over the Hawks. McKenzie drops back, lines a pass over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Jamal Robinson.
McKenzie's pass incomplete to number 3, Clark. Brings up 2nd down.
There's the Paulsboro super fan. We've been able to hear him all day, and he's always fun. He might be the most passionate fan. I mean, he sits in the exact same seat every week for Paulsboro. It's fun stuff. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. McKenzie lets this fly a long way. Incomplete again. D'Ambrosio and Bennett on the coverage.
Intended for number 4, Eli. Falls incomplete. Brings up 3rd down.
I mean, Paulsboro's kind of stalling out a little bit here, but it hasn't burned that much time off the clock because there's 5:49 still in the 3rd quarter, and by this juncture, the 1st quarter was already done. So, you know, the way that it is right now for this Manville team is that they like the fact that they're throwing the ball deep, because if they can force incompletions, guess what? That leaves you more time to advance the ball when you're on offense. And now you're just one more down away from possibly forcing a punt. However, the line of scrimmage is at the 30, so we'll see what happens. McKenzie with a floater of a pass caught to Harvey. He cuts through. He's got a first down and then some. So 3rd and 10. Harvey is able to get 18, 19 yards, and what ended up being a high-arcing pass, and what didn't seem like much. Again, Paulsboro has been able to turn turn nothing into something. You know, they have been able to make passes that look like they should only be good for a couple of yards and convert them into these long, elaborate plays that go for 18 or 19 yards. So it's impressive how offense-minded Paulsboro is, and meanwhile their defense is doing a pretty darn good job too. Harvey is going to find an open wound in the middle as they're on 1st and goal from the 10. They got a couple more yards on that one.
Gain of 6 brings up 2nd down.
But with every yard that Paulsboro gains and every minute that's chewed off the clock, it makes Manville have to scramble a little bit more, just because they've got to find a way to stop them at every turn, but they're just not doing it. They're at the 4. Harvey up the middle. Touchdown, Paulsboro. They strike again.
Harvey is in for a Red Raider touchdown.
The Red Raiders strike again for the 4th time this afternoon, and their first score of the second half as Kyer Harvey contributes with a 6-pointer. And we'll see what they have in store for the PAT. They've gone for 2 at every touchdown today. They are 2 for 3 in that regard. And McKenzie and crew are coming back out there, so for the 4th time they'll continue to go for 2. So we said Paulsboro 2 for 3 on their PAT attempts, their 2-pointers so far. McKenzie over the middle. It is incomplete. Looks like it was intended for Eli, and we remained at a very conventional 28-3. Of course, the Paulsboro Red Raiders, in the eyes of Manville, you're hoping that Manville becomes the New England Patriots and that Paulsboro becomes the Atlanta Falcons of 2017. But we'll be right back as it's 28-3, Paulsboro.
2nd down.
But with every yard that Paulsboro gains and every minute that's chewed off the clock, it makes Manville have to scramble a little bit more, just because they've got to find a way to stop them at every turn, but they're just not doing it. They're at the 4. Harvey.
2nd down.
But with every yard that Paulsboro gains and every minute that's chewed off the clock, (28-3). Paulsboro is ahead here midway through the 3rd quarter. The kickoff for the Red Raiders kind of gets stuck in the ground at the 15. Manville diving forward. They'll stop this one at the 35. So the quarterback turned kick returner, turned punter, turned punt returner. He's been a jack of all trades out there, and that's why I feel for these very small programs who have to put their offensive and defensive linemen, on the same point, because this is the difference between Group 1 and Group 4 or 5 football. Because I've covered both. I've seen Kingsway a few times this year. We've seen some of the larger schools like RV, Eastern, stuff like that. It's not easy being a Group 1 athlete because you're representing your small town, but if you're an offensive lineman, you're also a defensive lineman. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Oh, wow. Nice catch to the right, but he gets swallowed up the line of scrimmage. Eckerberry.
No hit on the play brings up 2nd down.
So 2nd and 10 now after neutral gain. Second and 10. Manville pump fakes. Now D'Ambrosio dumps off a pass. It is bobbled, but it's caught anyway. Now, ball came out, a flag comes in, and we've got kind of organized chaos here. Let's see what the call is. I don't know what that all was about, but D'Ambrosio passes it. Not even sure who made the catch. It was so convoluted in the middle of it all.
The flag on the play is an eligible man downfield against Manville.
So Manville gets hit with an illegal man downfield. That's what I thought it was. But that brings them back. The ball is spotted at the 30. The 5-yard penalty definitely doesn't help because it looked like the pass was completed and then it was fumbled, and you had a whole bunch of moving parts on that play. As this third quarter has kind of come to a grinding halt. Dropping back. That will take care of him. 3rd and long now for the Mustangs.
D'Ambrosio sacked in the backfield. First get there, number 55, Chris Neff.
This will be 3rd and 20-ish. 3rd and a country mile, basically. They've got a way to go. Third and 20. After a 5-yard loss, now another rush. I mean, they're rushing the ball on 3rd and 20. Here's my thing. You know, look, this is not a dig against Manville. However, I don't see, you know, like a situation where running the ball on 3rd and 20, down 28-3, is a very viable option. Like, you know, there has to be a little bit more firepower in them. And I get these guys are a rush-heavy team. You know, D'Ambrosio has only passed for 400 yards this entire season. Meanwhile, McKenzie's up over 1,100. But still, this is a high pop-up that goes to the 43. It will spin a little bit further towards midfield, and after it lands, it picks up about 5 more yards, and the Red Raiders will take over from the enemy 47. So the playoff picture in South Jersey Group 1 after today, with Riverside up big on Haddon Township. Like we said, last check, the score is still 32-14. Obviously, Glassboro took care easily of Point Pleasant Beach. Shalleck beat Audubon, so the 1 and 2 seeds are locked in. Paulsboro wins, it would be a 3-2 with Paulsboro and Shalleck, a rematch from October 7th of this year. So it hasn't been very long since those two teams last squared off, and Shalleck won 17-0. Over the middle, another floater. This time, Manville comes down with it. It's an interception. He is still on his feet, and this time Bennett finally gives the Mustangs some life as Paulsboro throws a pick, and the Mustangs are at midfield once again.
Manville will take over. 1st and 10 from midfield.
That almost seemed like a baseball throw right there, where he was just throwing it as high and as far as he possibly could, but he had the high arc on the pass, and then it just kind of stalled out, and it didn't get the distance that he wanted. It almost looked like he was trying to do a 15-yard Hail Mary. And it was a high pass, but that allowed time for Manville to set up a play. And even in coverage, Bennett picks up the interception, and they are right on midfield. So Riverside and Haddon Township, looks like it would be Glassboro and Riverside next week on Friday the 2nd in South Group 1. Another handoff over the middle. Again, finding some extra space. Couple Manville players all over the place there. That'll be a gain of 5.
Handoff to number 5, Thomas.
And in South Group 2, with all 4 games decided,
6 on the play, brings up 2nd and 4.
you've got Camden and Willingboro in the 1 and 5, and then Manchester Township and Point Pleasant Borough in a 3 and 2 game. So we're going to find out after Oakcrest and Holmdel later tonight, the sound through the Group 3 bracket, but it's going to be Hopewell Valley and Seneca, and then Mainland versus the winner of Oakcrest and Holmdel. Handoff to the right side. Manville's getting somewhere. It's 3rd down and manageable.
No gain, brings up 3rd and 4.
Of course, Winslow and Princeton are playing in South Group 5 at 1 o'clock today. That game starts in about 15 minutes. They'll play Manalapan, and then Shawnee Middletown North is the other game. And then in South Group 5, you've got Toms River North versus Kingsway, and then Hillsborough at Rancocas Valley, again at 1 and 5 versus a 3 and a 2. This is going to be yes, it will be enough for a first down for D'Ambrosio. The pile is still moving at the 37. And Manville finally getting something going with 3 seconds remaining in the quarter. They will run the clock, and at the end of quarter number 3, Manville is starting to get those jet fuel rockets going as they trail 28-3. However, still some time to go. 12 minutes remain. We'll be right back. From October 7th of this year. So it hasn't been very long since those two teams last squared off, and Shalleck won 17-0. Over the middle, another floater. This time, Manville comes down with it. It's an interception. He is still on his feet, and this time, Bennett finally. Welcome to the 4th quarter here from Pete Lamani Sports Complex. The Manville faithful coming out this afternoon. You know, like we were talking with some of the Manville folks before the game, was that they had to get on a bus at 7 o'clock to get here, and it is not a short drive. Manville to Paulsboro, right around an hour and a half. And that doesn't even, I mean, it is a Saturday. If these guys played on a Friday, you'd have to deal with rush hour traffic too. But right now, the only rush hour here is on the offense, as it's going to be from the 35, from the first play of the 4th. D'Ambrosio on the rush.
Gain of 3, brings up 2nd and 7.
2nd and 7 for the Mustangs. Manville is the 90th high school to make an appearance on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, and Paulsboro today making their 15th appearance, their first being on May 9th, 2022, in a baseball game that Audubon won 5-1 over Paulsboro. Going into today with 14 appearances, they are 6-8 in those 14 appearances, and 4th all-time behind Pittman with 18, Gloucester with 25, and Audubon with 139. Up the middle, finally getting some room, Bennett breaks away and gets Manville into the red zone for just the 2nd time today. So it seems like at this juncture in the game, I mean, they've got to be very proactive from here until the final whistle. If they get in the end zone now, I mean, you can see Villegas is kicking some PATs on the sideline. They need a little bit more than that to get back into the game. D'Ambrosio again, but it just seems like either the Paulsboro defense is faltering or they finally found that spark after 3 quarters of play that is allowing them to be proactive on this offensive drive. I mean, this is their best drive so far. However, it's just chewing off a whole bunch of clock. We talked about that drive that ended in a field goal from 35 for Villegas. That chewed off 6.5 minutes of the opening quarter. As now here we go from 2nd and 7 after a 3-yard gain. I mean, they're just trying to barrel roll through the Paulsboro defense, you know, toughen them up a little bit. And Bennett again on the carry.
Result is 34.
But as we said, this is where consistency meets resilience, where Manville is a resilient rushing team. But it's the way I see it, you know, for our Manville viewers, it's very similar to what we see here in South Jersey with a team like Clayton. Clayton attempted 15 passes all year, and they only completed like 5 of them. But they had 2,500 rushing yards. Well, they missed the playoffs. They had one rusher, Demetrius Williams, who rushed for 1,250 rushing yards in an 8-week regular season. And he did incredible. Paulsboro played them at the last week of the season. Here comes a rush up the middle. Diving forward is Thomas. That should be a first down inside the 5. They'll drop the sticks, and it's 1st and goal for the Mustangs. So where we're at right now, you know, the way I see it is Paulsboro is leading 28-3, mostly because, think about it this way. Paulsboro has 1,000 passing yards, 1,500 rushing yards, and 1,000 receiving yards. Manville only has 400 passing yards and 2,500 or 2,200, something like that, rushing yards. And I think this is a case of where your resources are limited. You know, it doesn't set you up for a good situation here. But Manville looking to score their first touchdown of the afternoon as this one goes up the middle from the 4-yard line. A host of everybody, and the whistles finally fly. Again, Thomas on the carry. So they gained 1 yard on that play. Seven minutes, 55 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. Manville on the edge here. It's 2nd and goal from the 3. They'll have 2 more shots to get into the end zone on this drive. That one immediately got snuffed out on the rush by Bennett. That'll bring up 3rd and goal.
No gain, brings up 3rd and goal.
I mean, Manville's just trying to find a way in any way, shape, or form to score. I mean, it's no secret that they're rushing the ball at every turn, but they're so close to the goal line that we got to figure out a way to make something happen here. Now under 7 minutes, and we've got flags on the line of scrimmage. It's a false start on the offense.
False start on Manville.
So that makes the path a little bit more difficult for Manville. From the 8. Third and goal from the 8 after a false start. D'Ambrosio drops back. He's going to dump off the pass. It is complete. And into the end zone. Touchdown, Naquavir Thomas. And Manville finally chipping away for their first touchdown of this contest. It's 28-9. I mean, what did I say? They had to get out of the box there. Find something new, find a new groove. They will bring Villegas back out for a PAT to make this 28-10. Holding as the quarterback, D'Ambrosio. It is low. It was a goal in soccer, but not in football. 28-9 with 5:59 remaining in regulation. As the Paulsboro band plays accordingly, and Manville fails in the PAT, they trail 28-9. Third and goal from the 8 after a false start. D'Ambrosio drops back. He's going to dump off the pass. It is complete. And into the end zone. Touchdown, Naquibir Thomas. And Manville finally chipping away for their first. They're going to go for the onside, and we got flags. So the onside kick was recovered on a dive by Darius Sharper. It is an illegal procedure on Mustangs.
Probably is a legal procedure against Manville.
Remember, on those penalties, you have an opportunity to, you have two choices. You can either, accept it or give them the ball at I believe it's the 35, or you can go back 5 yards and re-kick. And that's what Villegas is going for here. So Sharper dove on it. Moot point there. Scott making a quick change with Dante Scott. Okay. Now they'll go for the traditional here as Villegas back at the 35. Lined over to middle, bounced at the 30, 2 hops, picked up by Carr. He finds some room to the left. D'Ambrosio blocking. And he goes down. Ball came out. Oh. D'Ambrosio getting up there. Some decent hits. And that sets Paulsboro up at between the 35 and the 40.
First and 10 on their own 39.
So they're at the 39, and where they're at right now, both teams have all 3 timeouts remaining. So this game could theoretically, Paulsboro could just run the ball from here. It's 28-9. They didn't get the onside kick. And yes, there's still half of a quarter left, but this is high school football. This isn't the NFL, where you could just kind of run. That's what they'll do here. Harvey on the carry. Ball came out.
Number 0, Harvey on the carry.
It is second down. They got about 8 yards. Paulsboro ball.
Gain of 8 brings us 72.
The band plays on here at Paulsboro at the Pete Lamani Sports Complex. They do a fabulous job over there, as they have been all year. And we've got flags again at the line of scrimmage. Going to be a false start on Paulsboro.
False start against the Raiders.
False start on the offense brings them back to 2nd and 7. .4:30 and counting here in the 4th quarter. I think if you want to start talking about player of the game discussions, I think Jeremiah Carr is to be up there. 2 touchdowns. He's been everywhere. He's been on rush. He's been on returns. He's really helped out the team in so many ways as Harvey goes in a spin cycle, and that'll be enough for Paulsboro first down at the 49.
Gain of 8, Red Raider first down.
Just finding a way to move the ball in every which way, and again, pushing Manville back step by step. And Manville got that touchdown, but, now in hindsight, after that onside kick just didn't go their way. It didn't seem like it seemed like it took the wind out of their sails. I mean, that was their best drive of the day. If they were in the lead, that would have been an amazing drive because they took off a lot of time and were able to find the end zone. But it was not easy for them to get in the end zone. Kyer Harvey is still on his feet. He goes out of bounds. We've had 2 Manville players that went down there, D'Ambrosio and Thomas, but they both get up on their own. It's another Red Raiders first down.
It will be first and 10 from the Manville 32.
Don't forget, we will be packing up from here when the game is done and traveling over to Gateway Regional for coverage between the Collingswood Panthers and the Gateway Gators. That game starts in 1 hour and 56 minutes. So we'll see what Paulsboro can do here as we get ready for the second half of our doubleheader. Next week on DWB, on Tuesday, we have boys soccer public playoffs in NJSIAA. We don't know where we're going yet, but when we find out, we will let you know on our social media pages as Harvey breaks free. He is inside the red zone already.
Number 0, Harvey on the carry. Enough for another Red Raider first down.
This crowd's been into it. I mean, I don't want this to sound like a dig against Paulsboro, but I'm just surprised at the amount of empty seats that we've seen, because these guys usually fill it up for Saturday, 11 a.m., but I'm just a little bit surprised, that's all.
It'll be first and 10 from the Manville 16.
We do have some crossover football coming up this week. On Wednesday, November 6th, we travel over to Point Pleasant Beach for a WJFL and Shore Conference crossover between the Buna Chiefs and the Point Pleasant Beach Garnet Gulls. With 2 minutes and 5 seconds remaining now. That's a 6 o'clock start. On Wednesday the 6th, Harvey to the left, Harvey in the end zone. And he puts the icing on the cake with a touchdown, Paulsboro, their 5th of the day. (34-9). .157 on the clock. They will again go for 2. Surprised by this, with the game mostly in hand now. It's incomplete.
Pass incomplete to number 6, Robinson on 2-point conversion.
Broken up by Jonathan Gosk. Breaks it up. We have a minute 57. Paulsboro up 34-9, and they are 117 seconds from a date with Shalleck on Friday the 8th. We'll be right back. Buna Chiefs and the Point Pleasant Beach Garnet Gulls. with 2 minutes and 5 seconds remaining. Now that's a 6 o'clock start. On Wednesday the 6th, Harvey to the left, Harvey in the end zone. And he puts the icing on the cake with a touchdown. A minute 57 remains here at the Pete Lamani Sports Complex. The Mustangs trail the Red Raiders 34-9. A late touchdown from the Mustangs, but now a counter by Kyer Harvey. On a proactive drive, that kick is squibbed. A whole bunch of linemen in on that one. It was picked up by number
11,
I'm sorry, number 1. Yes. And now Manville in somewhat of a desperation drive. They're going to have a minute 54.
Push it in to me. She told me you were coming in.
They'll start their drive after the squib from the 36, 37. Looks something like it.
Manville first and 10 on their own, 37.
So Manville will get a few plays off here. Fires a pass low, intended for Bennett.
The Ambrosio pass, he replaces number 1, Bennett. Brings up second down.
So that pitch ended up being a little bit short, intended for Bennett. Manville has not lost since September 20th. They started off the season 2-0, dropped games 3 and 4 to Belvedere and Middlesex. Then they won 5 in a row. South Hunterdon, J.P. Stevens, Denellen, Highland Park, and Bound Brook. And for Paulsboro, they were in a similar situation. They started off the year 2-0, beating Penns Grove and Audubon. They lost in overtime to Camden Catholic, and then they won 2 more, Collingswood and Overbrook. Then they lost to Shallop on a Monday afternoon, 17-zip. Now here comes a rush from D'Ambrosio. They'll go out of bounds at around the 45. That'll be a gain of 8.
Out of bounds. At the Manville 44.
And they closed out the regular season with 3 wins over Pennsville, West Deptford, and Clayton. So as we said in the South Jersey Group 1 bracket, Glassboro will play the winner of Riverside and Haddon Township. And that game just ended the 3rd quarter. Haddon Township got a touchdown back, 32-20. So they'll play most likely Riverside, and then it'll be Paulsboro and Shallop on Friday the 8th at 6 o'clock from Pittsgrove. D'Ambrosio in a collapsing line and goes down. That'll be 4th down.
Number 3, D'Ambrosio, brought down in the backfield.
90 seconds left now.
Brings up 4th and 9.
This game started at 11 a.m. this morning. Actually, really decent time we made. And we were talking about, oh, if this game ends at 1:30, well, guess what? This game is going to end at around 1:15. So thank you to Paulsboro for realizing that we have a 3 o'clock game and making this one pretty swift. I joke, but 4th and 9. D'Ambrosio passed. It's incomplete, and that will be a turnover. Paulsboro takes over, and their date with Shalleck will be set for Friday, November 8th. And after a 1-7 season in 2023 under Coach Harvey, they are back in the win column with a man not named Howard, and they will be moving on to the South Jersey Group 1 semifinals next week. They have 32 seconds left. Paulsboro will line up in victory formation, it looks like. And they will. The Paulsboro Red Raiders, talk about a roller coaster of a tenure under Coach Harvey. 1-7 in 23. And now a 8-2 record as the Red Raiders stomp out the Mustangs 34-9. A late touchdown gave Manville a little bit of life, but they just weren't able to string together enough first downs there to get on the board and to get ahead. 34-9 to final. How about that? I mean, you know, look, Paulsboro is a very good team, and so is Manville, but it kind of shows the differences of these two conferences between the Big Central and the WJFL, that, you know, the WJFL seems to be the stronger conference after all of this. You know, look, they lost to Middlesex, Manville. They lost to Middlesex in week 4, same team that that lost to Woodbury just last night, 35-28. So these two teams are very good, but here's the thing, Manville, it's not easy for you to play on a Saturday where you have to travel an hour and a half. They came in, got the first blood, and then it was all Paulsboro from there on out. And I don't know if that's all Manville's fault, you know, but I think the way that I see it, there just wasn't enough ambition from that Manville side. And I say it like a broken record, but it's consistency over resilience. Where, yes, these guys are a great rushing team, but Manville seemed like on their play calling that they put all of their eggs in one basket, which, if that's all they got, that's not their fault. But, you know, with Paulsboro being the consistent team that they are with passing, rushing, and receiving, we saw all of the stops pulled out, whether it was offensively or defensively. They did everything in their path to get ahead. They never wavered. They never stepped back. After that first touchdown was scored by Jeremiah Carr, that was the opening of the floodgates. They got up 22-3 before the half. You know, it looked like we were going to be on our way to a running clock. But these guys are celebrating, and they'll be on their way to Shalleck in Pittsgrove next week. That's the final. Here from Pete Lamani Sports Complex, a very excited Paulsboro Red Raiders crew take care of the Manville Mustangs 34-9. Our next broadcast will be in about an hour and 45 minutes between the Collingswood Panthers and the Gateway Gators. David Cohen will be on production for that game over in Woodbury Heights. So we'll pack up our equipment and we'll get out of here as Paulsboro takes care of Manville 34-9. From our entire crew, our social media coordinators, Brandon DeKagerland and Keely Curran, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rail, Caleb Lane, and Liam Nolan. My producer, Ryan Sieber. I'm Dan Wilkins. We will see you in 2 hours over in Woodbury Heights. Have a good